Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans. Don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. The Brian Beamish Broiler Chicken Show. Back. We'll call it the BCS. I don't know. Posting about the poop rising last and the way the kids in Solana are going a little bit nutso right now. I just posted a note in the lounge, somebody saying, oh, you know what, the kids aren't going crazy yet. And I was like, I don't know, I'm looking at my watch list and things are getting a little nuts. But anyway, welcome back to the frivolity. It is now, what is it, November 24th, about 11 o'clock on the wet coast, 2 o'clock, I guess, back east, and probably late afternoon, early evening over there in Europe. Pretty crazy times we're living in right now, eh? Gee whiz. Cats and dogs living together. I mean, this is kind of a sad commentary. Suppose I put a tweet out this morning. You know, well, actually, here we'll do the newsletter. My comment here is, I think we're in the sort of the climbing the wall of worry phase of the bull run. I do think that we're going substantially higher, but I also think too that we're in the world where a loaf of bread could very easily be $50 a loaf here in the not too distant future, especially in my country's currency. Oh my God. It's the country, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And, you know, this probably the tide doesn't start shifting until this idiot that's still in charge of our country is excommunicated. Pretty sad times to be a human, I'll tell you that much. Ironically enough, probably in other parts of the world, it's really probably not so bad, but I don't know. Try and tell me a place where they're feeling optimistic and things are booming. It's tough to find. So I've often said to you that, you know, and if anything, Bitcoin is sort of the ultimate leading indicator for sort of inflation, deflation here in our society. As long as the central bankster crooks have continued this fugazi of this sort of Ponzi scam that they do with the currencies here, as long as their game keeps going on, you know, Bitcoin a relatively limited supply, and if anything, it's probably even a diminishing supply, because I bet a lot of Bitcoins that have been either bought or mined over the years are sitting at the bottom of lakes due to boating accidents. Intentional or not. So it doesn't surprise me. Literally, as soon as these central bankster crooks all start saying, "Oh yeah, you know what? Everything's fine with regard to inflation," and we see, of course, that the peasants are getting slightly upset because maybe they might be losing their jobs. We're going to take rates down to nothing, and of course, turn the printers on and massively dilute the currency. And unfortunately, I think that through a falling interest rate cycle, that works. But through a rising interest rate cycle, and I'm talking more longer term, you know, 80-year cycles, you know, basically interest rates bottomed. Well, interest rates topped, bond prices bottomed back in 1981, 82. And we've been on a 40-year path of falling interest rates. But that clearly changed. Of course, I suppose it makes sense when social media influencers, and I still can't understand this to save my soul, but social media influencers have like hundreds of thousands of views of their videos and stuff. Maybe they buy the statistics. I don't know. But they like publicly labeled themselves, the Bond King. I remember this one guy in particular, and he literally was touting himself as the Bond King right into the very top of the market. And of course, nobody holds him to account for that horrific call. But I would actually argue that the Bond ghouls now are back in charge. And I remember actually, and I even tweeted out actually an interview with a local real estate guy. And I keep telling this guy, get out of this stupid real estate business. That's the last business you want to be in. But of course, these people that have grown up past 10, 15 years, just swearing by real estate. Of course, that's an awfully hard pill to undigest, what the term is, to extrapolate yourself from that. So anyway, but the point is actually, I really, and I even retweeted it, and of course, I always post all my tweets and stuff to the community, encourage them to watch. I'm not quite sure what tab I have it on here. Too many tabs as always. Let's see. I don't think it's that one. It might be this one. All right, there you go. No, these are all my commodity charts. Yeah, we don't need that. Where is that Twitter feed thing? One of these. One of these tabs is not like the other. Maybe it's this one? Nope. Two down. Only 4 more tabs to go. Hey, there we go. Got it. Let's see if I can share that with you. Really interesting gentleman. And an interesting and I think I had this conversation with this audience a couple of weeks ago. This idea that interest rates are probably returning to normal, which would actually imply that we're not going to see things like 0% interest. You're not going to see that probably the rest of our lifetimes, which is kind of sad. But anyway, this guy here. This guy was the actual gentleman back in the early 80s who coined the term bond vigilantes. But, keep in mind, people, I used to follow a gentleman by the name of Louis Rukeyser, and he used to always talk about the bond vigilantes and the bond ghouls. That's the term that Lou would use, the bond ghouls. Anyway, point being that as soon as the economy gets going and people start feeling optimistic, then interest rates on the long end start going up, and the whole party is brought to a grinding halt because the bond market is worried about inflation. And I hate to say it, but that's basically what our path is for the next 40 years. I used to have this really cool chart. Actually, I don't even know if I have it. I might have it in here of sort of like the history. It was the short-term interest rate market. And they used to have this product called the Euro dollars. Oh, no, you cocksuckers. Look at that. They even got rid of it. Motherfucking sons of bitches. That's what you get for saving a Discord chart. Ah, jerks. Damn it. And George's always going on to me. You better save those images to Google Files because you can't depend on Discord saving your image. Bastards. Anyway, I used to have a really, really great study that I used to share with all of you on the history of short-term interest rates. And unfortunately, I don't think that the public is aware of what's likely to happen here. And I think the odds are pretty good. We're probably going to spend the next, where are we here? We are, when was it Jupiter Saturn cross? It was 21, eh? So this is 24. So we are 3 years into an 80-year rising interest rate environment. Well, 80, let's go 40. 80 is probably too much. In fact, actually, I showed you, I think last time I was talking with you guys, I showed you a really cool chart that sort of describes all this. I think we could probably do it over here. TNX, right? The yield on the 10-year US Treasury bond. 10-year US note yield. And I think actually these guys give you enough data that you can actually do some half decent long-term analysis. Yeah, you can see this was the conversation that we had a week or two ago. And unfortunately, nothing's really going to change here over the near term. So, hey, look at that. See a deja vu. So, my hunch is that for the entire period that this was, we have to do the exact opposite. In fact, probably would be a really simple study. Probably everybody should do this and just have it in your back pocket. Probably the coming interest rate cycle should look like, let's go flip. Boom. Hey, there we go. Probably something along those lines. So you want to know what the next 40 years when it comes to interest rates look like? My hunch, probably something so big you can't even put it on the whole screen. It's got maybe 2 weeks. There we go. So get ready, humans. In fact, actually, I might even argue that we've probably gone a little too far, too fast here. But I wouldn't be surprised if the universe is a fractal, we would always say, if the universe is a fractal, then odds are that's probably what the next 40 years are going to look like for us with regard to interest rates. And the problem here, of course, like, why did interest rates go so dramatically high here? And I may make the argument that, in previous iterations of our society, when we go through these generational pivots, we didn't have as much sort of accepted socialism in our society. Things like pensions, disability benefits. I mean, really, all this is more debt, more debt, more debt. More what do they call it, unfunded obligations, social security, Medicare, all this kind of crap, which means that, of course, the debt piles up higher and higher and higher. And then when we go through these interest rate cycle pivots, oh boy, oh man, this looks bad. So ironically enough, we might even see these rates even much further beyond these highs. But my hunch is that the path going forward is going to look something along these lines. So, we have our old buddy. I don't know whether he's old buddy. I have been chatting with him on various different social media platforms. I like the guy. I think he's got an interesting character, Hugh Hendry. I was chatting with him. He's basically expecting the whole world to fall apart, and China, the whole stupid con job of China unwinding. And actually, I even heard, believe it or not, wow, it was an interesting piece that I saw. I can't remember what it was. It was yesterday or the day before. And actually, I even put a tweet out to the effect. Interesting gentleman who was, and he actually has like a pretty important title. I'm Mr. Important. What the hell was he? Talking a little bit about the absolute fraud, just the absolute stunning fraud that is China. And actually, he even explained it even better because, and keep in mind, my country, like my leader actually believes that China is the future. And, he's even publicly said things like, well, China's a totalitarian dictatorship model. That's the way I want to be because I want to be a totalitarian dictator. And to all intents and purposes, the little bastard is. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. But I retweeted. I thought that was very, very good. And I suggested to everybody at TRI, do yourself a favor and listen to this guy. I thought he had a pretty good head on his shoulders. Well, the question is, where the hell did I put that? I might have just put it in the TRI lounge. Maybe I didn't even tweet it out. Like, look at this insanity that's happening here in crypto right now. Like, this is the definition of a top. You remember last year in March and April and all that? Gucci sweater wearers. I mean, this is getting ridiculous what's happening here in this Solana shit. I mean, do you think that this guy's actually got a half decent head on his shoulders? This guy's a fucking punk. Oh, God, this world. Anyway. And actually, this is an interesting. I love listening to this guy. I got to tell you, this guy, he's so down to earth. It was hilarious the way that he picked apart that stupid Saudi Arabia nonsense with their mile long city made of just made of bullshit and bullshit piled on top of bullshit. Right. Well, this is sort of the same thing. He's coming after Allen. And actually, I think he did a very, very good job picking apart Allen and why Allen is so and why Trump actually likes Allen so much right now. Hint, hint, hint. $200 million is going to make anybody all of a sudden become BFF with you, eh? If you handed a guy $200 million, would you be his friend? I don't know. So anyway, I love this guy. He's awesome. And of course, he always picks apart crypto and the total nonsense of half of this space. And like I said, seeing this kind of nonsense, the stupidity of this crypto space is unregulated. I don't know where you justify the valuations for half of these stories. But this is, I guess, 21st century capitalism. And if you don't learn how to play the game correctly, you're going to get your fucking ass handed to you, people. That's, some people actually were, I guess it was Friday. We were doing a free broadcast and people were like, man, thank God there's guys like you, Brian, who just talk the truth and don't bullshit and don't blow smoke up your ass. Don't fucking fire off firearms when you're talking about, and they actually call these people developers. You gotta be kidding me. This guy's probably a fucking murderer, not a developer. Give me a break. Anyway, so like I said, this guy, interesting. He's sort of pulling it after watching this. I would strongly suggest that you do watch this, and might as well follow me on Twitter too, because you're gonna get the straight goods. You want to know, like this guy here. There isn't very far from this clown here and him fucking waving around firearms and shooting them off. There isn't much difference between this idiot here and this guy here. And I remember on Friday, I had a very long conversation with all of you about this doofus here and what you're getting involved in if you actually do decide to play in this crypto space. Just, you better understand this. This is what you're getting involved in. And the sad part about it is, the expression I love to use with all of you, and you're very good at barking it out on command. So let's see if 57 of you can. The what always rises what? I mean, yeah, the good part about it is most of you know exactly how this goes now, and you just remember, so not a big surprise. This is, thank you, Constantine. And if it makes you feel badly to actually type out SHIT, you could always type out SH. And usually what I do is I change the I to like an asterisk or something like that. So you don't feel so badly about swearing. But what a great analogy of the poop rising last. This is perfect, right? And I even said case in point, because my comment here today is if we just look at Bitcoin price, we've had a pretty nice run here. Don't get me wrong. Basically, the asset is doubled in price, and that in itself is a little bit bothersome. Because there's an old rule in the market, especially when I was a commodities broker and stuff. We used to always have a simple rule. If you ever see an asset, now I don't know with something like Bitcoin, my hunch is yes, but nonetheless, whenever you see an asset double in price in less than 6 months' time, remember, what is the natural growth rate of anything? I can absolutely guarantee you a natural growth rate is not doubling in value in 6 months' time. That's too far, too fast. So our old rule, and keep in mind this is a weekly price chart. Our old rule is if you ever see an asset double in price in less than 6 months' time, just be forewarned. You are walking into a trap, especially if you buy here. If you're already long, well, market ebb and flow. Enjoy the ride. I mean, my hunch is, and I don't see any reason why we should change this thinking. Cycle pivot here should come October of this year. I beg your pardon, not this year, next year, right? We're still in 2024. So I'm thinking October, in fact, actually, I can even give you a specific date, October 27th, 2025. Somebody write that down. We've been doing this cycle analysis study using the time fib time zones based on the halving event. It's shocking how accurate this tool is. Having said that, the problem here is if too many people are looking for this very specific date, well, then obviously it's not going to happen. So, kind of like, everybody and their brothers now in Solana and doing these silly poop coins that have really no intrinsic value to them whatsoever. And I do see that some of them are kind of going that parabolic kind of behavior, which in itself is a very indicative of the end of the move, not the beginning of the move. I think we got a little bit there yesterday. I do see that things are calming down a bit, but yesterday things were getting a little bit out of hand. And as a result of the sort of, oh my goodness, these people are going absolutely crazy, apeshit bullish. Well, that's not the page I want to show you. Where's the page I want to show you? I guess maybe I just go back to the newsletter. Is this it? Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Oh, okay, now we're going to do a newsletter. I always, of course, do this. It's almost funny. Oh yeah, that's why I had him on there. And actually, speaking of this interview, and actually, I wanted to show you a different one that I was originally starting this conversation theme off of. But it is fascinating in this very corruptible capitalist society. Allen just basically bought his way into the White House to the tune of $200 million. But actually, if you watch this video and you look at the back end of the video, and he walks through all of the various different government agencies that technically have contracts with Tesla or SpaceX, or I don't know whether that boring company has government contracts or not. But it's fascinating, of course, if we're in a world where you want to cut government spending, how much government spending is actually directed directly to Tesla and that SpaceX and stuff. And he's talking about, oh, I'm going to cut spending by $2 trillion. And this guy goes through the budget and goes, okay, let's quit with the bullshit. And frankly, half of what comes out of Allen's mouth is total bullshit. Go look at that Goro stock that he bought and he was touting as a good investment. Fuck, what a disaster that turned out to be. But anyway, the point being that it makes sense. $200 million spent to buy his way into Trump's cabinet and be able to be on the inside of the conversation of what needs to be cut and what should be cut. He's going to basically guarantee that none of his business interests are going to be disturbed by this coming budget crisis. And of course, keep in mind that Mr. Trump, he doesn't give a fuck about battery powered cars. That's a joke and a half. And if I understand correctly, too, Mr. Allen's biggest investment, like I said, this was a really, really good. I love the work that this guy does. It's so thorough. Turns out that Allen's biggest investment right now is building battery powered cars inside China. No, not going to be any conflicts of interest here, especially if Mr. Trump comes along and says, China, fuck you. Obviously, Alan, so one might argue that that was $200 million very well spent. And of course, all the Fakasian bullshit about how, Doge and we're going to cut government spending. There's no way you can cut $2 trillion out of the US government budget. What, you're going to cut the defense budget? Yeah, right. You're going to cut Medicaid or Medicare? Yeah, right. You want to see how quickly the Republicans will lose control of the House of Representatives and the Senate in 2 years' time? If Alan actually says, yeah, you know what? Why don't we go and cut all these senior citizens' cushy payouts and the baby boomers in their retirement? Boom! And you're gone. So obviously, it's all bullshit. But if you actually pull the story apart, it makes perfect sense why Alan did what he did. And of course, like I said, just over the top, insane conflicts of interest here. But who gives a fuck? We're in 21st century capitalism. There's no controlling society. I mean, look at what's going on in my country. Talk about conflict of interest. This son of a bitch has basically created civil war in our country, and he's off there dancing at a fucking Taylor Swift concert. I mean, that is our society now. What's happened here? I mean, it's yeah. You just sit there and you just go, I can't believe what's happening in this world. Anyway, blah blah blah. But as I had said earlier, and actually, you know what I do want to find is before I move on. Where was it? Yeah, this guy here. He's a World Bank director. Fuck me. If you don't want to listen to the Beamish, maybe listen to World Bank directors. But man, if you want an eye-opening anecdote of what the shit show China, actually, no, sorry, China, Winnie the Pooh land is. Oh my God, this is a great interview to watch, and it's just stunning how bad it is. I mean, you get, and the funny thing is I remember when I was a stockbroker, I used to talk to clients who used to do business in China, and I remember this one guy. He used to he was in the condiments and the cutlery and shit like that you have at like Costco. When you get your $1.50 hot dog and you put the ketchup and the mustard and you get your little plastic knives and forks and shit. He was in that business, and he used to have contracts with the China for the plastic forks and knives and shit. And he would literally say, Brian, I did it once. I'll never do it again. I buy all my stuff now from the Philippines and South Korea. And I think even Vietnam at that point, he was doing business with them. He said, if you ever buy anything from China, you literally have to throw half of it out because it's just shit. It's garbage. And I'm in the plastic knives and forks business. I mean, how do you fuck that up? And I still have to throw away half of the crap. So anyway, that's Beamish's. And I warned all of you. I mean, the funny thing is man, I've been sitting here for 10 years doing these things, and I warned you all the way through the China bullshit run up and, the Chak Pak, Dak Fak, and all that crew, those 4 billionaire guys, were just up to the tits in fucking China, and they were sucking Winnie's penis and the whole damn thing. And you never hear them talk about what a train wreck that turned out to be. But anyway, I warned you all along here, stay the fuck away from China. And sure enough, this story is actually going exactly the way that I expected. And we need to say for the record, we have nothing against the Chinese people. Humans are humans. And if anything, you almost have to feel badly for the Chinese people, the way that these stupid cocksucking totalitarian dictators fucking ruin this stupid human experience on this planet. And it sadly, it's actually a pretty consistent theme across this human species. You get just a few assholes who take over. Adolf Hitler, Stalin, Winnie the Pooh, they're Vladimir Putin. They're all cut from the same fucking cloth. And it just makes you sick to your stomach. So You want a very real look at China and what a shit show it is? Listen to this World Bank director. You don't even have to listen to Beamish. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to get that out. And of course, you know how much I'm absolutely in love with Winnie the Pooh. So really no big surprise there. I was on quite a tangent there, eh? But all right. So as I had sort of said there earlier, we were enjoying a pretty nice little run there. I guess following the election, things started to get a little bit crazy there, though. And like I said with Bitcoin, is the asset doubling in under 6 months really healthy? Is that normal? Is that sustainable? If you don't know this, probably a good idea to write it down. No, it isn't. So, and the problem, of course, is that now when, especially Alan here on his platform, he actually half of the problem here, of course, is that he really juices up. He wants as much as possible to sort of goad you. He wants to poke you. He wants to, hey, look at this. Does this trigger you? Because of course, if you're triggered, then you're going to go on his platform and you're going to type in stuff. Oh my God, you sons of bitches. Oh, and that's exactly what Alan wants. If anything, this is a problem, the way that he's actually distorted this. And I'll tell you, I'm going to lose a bet here if I stay on this platform much longer. I said to somebody that I would bet you $100 here. I got to get the fuck off this platform here. Oh, did I just say, oh no, sorry. By the end of the year. So I'm going to get my act together. I really got to get off of the Alan's platform. And I really don't like how it's like he's targeting you, right? He probably figures where your IP is. And then, okay, what is it that I can fire at you through these little windows here to really, just really trigger you? And of course, does Brian get triggered? You tell me. You're me going crazy. So, yesterday and first thing yesterday morning, and this is probably a good lesson for all of you. Usually, of course, the higher ups, they're not around on the weekends. In fact, actually, we've got a business partner here who's sort of like, not weekends. I'm MIA. You won't find me. Sorry. Although I think we've corrupted him over the years. He's from Europe. One thing that I've noticed is that quite often, actually, that's not what I want to show you. I wanted to show you maybe this screen. And we'll come on over here. I think this is where I wanted to be. Yeah. So this which one was a good one? Cripple? Cripple's probably a good one. So when you get this sort of like straight line move up, you got to be careful here. Got to be leery. Got to be skeptical. A little bit suspicious. What I found interesting about Cripple here was if we actually zoom out, we find, and of course, this is everything that Beamish guy's trying to teach you all. Would it make sense for price to maybe stall out as we start approaching areas where institutional players might actually start thinking about selling? Would that be realistic? And the funny thing is, of course, the public, they have no idea. I mean, keep in mind, you guys may think that this is actually pretty normal what we do here, but keep in mind, the public, they have no idea about price charts. And if anything, I used to joke with all of you, the most that they see, and, actually, we have a really good reference. What does the public look like? I think, whoops, that's interesting. I didn't want to do that. I think that this gentleman actually is a really good proxy on the public. It'd actually be interesting to see where he is in life now. Actually, I think he did like an update video of this, but this is a really, really good look at what the public sort of looks like when they look at something like investing, which of course they're not. Speculating. Let's just call a spade a spade. In crypto and shitcoins and all that, right? I mean, aside from the fun song, see, they listen to him. He goes, "Oh, Ripple's down 4.8%. Ooh, Litecoin's up 2.6%. Oh, Elon, where are you?" Right? That's where he's barking at here. But really, what he's doing is he's just doing something like Coin Gecko, I think is a pretty popular one. He's just coming on one of these kind of sites. And keep in mind, he did this like, that video is now like 10, 15 years old. And really nothing's changed here. It's the exact same damn thing. But all he's doing is just coming up here and going, oh, Solana's up, it's down 2.6%. Wulan, where are you? Right? Tron's down 3.6%. Oh, hey, Avalanche is it's down 4.6. Is there any winners here today? What am I supposed to invest in? Hey, there you go. I've got one. Near Protocol up 6%. Let's go all in. Hey, look at that. Getting me in the buy button right here. Awesome. Talk about easy, man. This is my life's gonna. Oh no, maybe a computer doesn't like me. But that's basically what the public does. I mean, ironically enough, that's about the extent of their quote unquote research. So when I pull up a chart like this and I say, well, anybody who's got a half decent head on their shoulders understands that we're actually just rallying right into a level at which institutional players are going to actually short. And the logic goes that somebody came in here and put a top in this market. Right? In fact, in our education program, we say that the bar that made the high plus the preceding bar, because keep in mind, to slow down one of these insane, outrageous bull runs, right? It's going to take a bit of selling. So you could argue that this bar high, that's the top, right? And that bar right there, I like to call that the institutional fingerprint, or basically they put the top in the market through this range here, that bar there to that bar high there. And what a big surprise. You can see somewhere in this, counter trend rallies right back up into that range, and boom, they stepped right up, and they, somebody was bidding this thing up, and somebody stepped up and said, I don't think so. Start selling, and let's take this thing back down. So that's a handy little tool to keep in your back pocket, just sort of like, where is the smart money actually stopping the bull run? Now, interestingly enough, if we zoom out and we look at where that institutional fingerprint is, right, there's the bottom of it right there. So when you start seeing price rallying into that zone, is it not logical that whoever it was that put the top in this market here, they might have a vested interest in keeping the top in the market there? Rally up into that, get your ass out of there, down you go. Rally back up. Look how we rallied right up into the low of that 2-bar range. Get your ass out of there. And down you go. What do you think? And of course, we've talked lots about where are these people sleeping. This guy right here who came in, you can all see that. Shouldn't be too difficult for you to figure that out. Where are these people that came in and bought, and they, oh no, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. Where do you think they're sleeping right now? And would they like to get the hell off of that and back into a warm, comfy bed? Right there, you can even see the zone. Right. And then, of course, if we make the argument, institutional fingerprint, where did the institutions put the top in the market? You could argue that's an institutional fingerprint right there. And this, of course, is now an institutional fingerprint there. I got all these poor suckers trapped in here right up there. So hopefully you can understand that all we did was here is we just rallied up and gave all those poor suckers the ability to get the fuck off the couch. Actually, nobody answered that. No, I got to stop everything and demand some participation from you. Where specifically, and actually, there's two answers. One is well, they're both the same, but it doesn't matter. Where are these people sleeping? Hey, honey, I went and took the family Christmas fund and I bought a shitcoin because we're gonna get rich. Thank you, Constantine. Well, the basement, I don't know. What is it? The wife has you down in the basement? Man, you really fucked up. Most of the time, you're sleeping on the couch, right? Or, I suppose, yeah, right, Constantine, or the doghouse. Look at that. You got both answers right. You're so smart. But learn to live by this. So does it not make sense that if we ever got back up into this wick, especially this one right here, because you can see, look at that wick up there, look at that wick right there, look at that wick there. There are a ton of Joe six packs all sleeping on the couch, just going, oh, for God's sakes, if the price ever gets back into here, just get me the hell out of here and I'll never buy this stupid thing again. And man, God, I really do want to get back to sleeping in a half decent bed. And sure enough, where the hell did the damn thing stop its run? I mean, I would say it's cliche, but to say it's cliche is cliche. Can you see how cliche this is? Does it make sense why price stopped where it did? I don't know. Somebody give me some feedback. You've got to learn this stuff, people. Who we got here? Glass Insights. He's only one person in the Zoom call with us. Let's see, where is Glass? There you go. Yep, Couch Surfers. Oh, Glass Insights, you're so smart. And what's super cool about this was I saw the price rally into this, and I go, I can't believe they took it this high. This is nuts. Is that a nice, healthy, sustainable move when it goes straight up like that? And you see when it went straight up like that, how many of these poor people in the public do you think actually went and bought that high? And again, when price comes off, where are they relegated to sleeping? So into this event, these guys here were like, oh, thank God, get me the hell out of there. So, but this is the whole reason why we teach concepts like the reload zone, is because this shit works. I mean, it is actually usable information that can help you make reasoned decisions in the marketplace. And keep in mind, we can go the other way, off of there to there. Reload zones work perfectly normal. And I've always told you, and if you've never heard this before, for God's sakes, write it down. You can 9 times out of 10 get trade location correct, but screw up things like indicator confirmation, price structure, time of day you do the trade, all that kind of stuff. Just as long as you get trade location correct, it can actually, what's the word? Like, let's say you had your stink bid working at 78.6, Brian's favorite fib. I've learned to come to live by that. And that's just simply measuring actually the top is there, right? And the bottom is there. So, exact opposite of this, and this is what I usually do, is I put red boxes are shorting windows and green boxes are buying windows. Something along those lines. And I often tell people, you could literally go in and just buy. Think of this in simplest terms, right? This market has had a massive rally, and I'm going to let 80% of that rally be taken back. And when it's taken back, 80% of that rally, I'm just going to go and buy some. Don't even overthink this. And then, later on you go, oh, gee whiz, look at those. Isn't that W stuff that Beamish guy's always going on about? And I suppose we could look at like indicators. Let's throw on some fun little indicators on here. Let's see what we got. Do we have any signs of momentum divergence down in here? You notice looks like MACD is making higher lows, although it's kind of hard to see. It's such as zoomed out. Willie is stupidly oversold. Look at that beautiful double bottom there in RSI. So, all the indicator confirmation, and then of course, like we said, W's price structure to frame your trade. All that stuff often comes in, but you can keep yourself out of a lot of trouble if you do nothing more than say, I am only allowed to buy if we are at or below 78.6s on measuring recent trading ranges. Something else. Whoops. Let's try that again. There, that one there. Right? There we go. So yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink this stuff. So as a result, what do you think are going to be staying here? The 78.6, basically the market has now taken back 80% of that slide heading up here. If you're long off of the bottom, for God's sakes, why are you so damn greedy? Pay yourself a little. And of course, if this isn't a rip-roaring bull, and actually in reality, this is nothing more than a trading range, then maybe it makes sense to let him have some up at the top end of the range, doesn't it? Here's an opportunity for you to interact with me here. What is the statistical probability that this is nothing more than a trading range versus the expectation that this is actually a trending market and it's going to just keep making higher highs and higher lows? What's the statistical probability that actually we're just comfortably parked in a trading range? It's pretty high. Very good, Adam. And I would expect no less from Adam. Ironically enough, did Cripple itself actually come out with any new fundamental developments of the actual cryptocurrency that makes it improved and better and more significant than the previous version of Cripple? No. What was the whole reason why this thing rallied? It's because they're getting rid of fucking Gensler. And Gensler, of course, is at war with these guys. So, nothing real. And ironically enough, I would actually make the argument that Cripple is probably the bank's cryptocurrency. I remember dealing with one guy back 10 years ago, and he used to talk about how Cripple was the best cryptocurrency for the remittance business. Now, how the hell are people talking about cryptocurrency and remittance 10 years ago in 2013, 2014? That's how long. Cripple's been around forever. It's probably been around as long as Bitcoin, for that matter. And I remember there's one guy, and he had banker written all over him. He was a slimy little fucker. Actually, he did a couple things. I used to interact with him on TradingView, and any of you longtime members, you probably remember him. I think he went by the name of Flipper or Flapper or Flubber or something like that. And of course, I think he's sitting on fucking 100 million Bitcoins right now and richer than all of us put together. But he was one, actually, he used to talk about how Cripple was actually a really, really good product for the remittance business. Now, this is 10 years ago talking about Cripple. And really what I've seen here is that Cripple, all it's done is it's just played the game. And I might argue that half of the shit that's going on with the SEC and these guys and Cripple Labs and all that, it's all smokescreen. The banks want to use this. They plan to use this. It is the remittance coin. And it's just a question of you just got to slowly work through the process of sort of brainwashing the public into accepting cryptocurrencies for their sort of day-to-day use. Oh, and by the way, do you think the Department of government efficiency is going to suggest using cryptocurrencies for the payment of things like taxes and stuff like that going forward? Do you think that's a coincidence? Yeah, there's a lot of people actually Chico Crypto. He used to always talk about he thought that Alan actually was the guy who was behind Bitcoin. And it wouldn't surprise me, to be perfectly honest with you. Wouldn't surprise me too if he was actually in on the ground floor of the Doge. But what was interesting about Doge is actually I got to know the community really, really well in its previous iteration. And the gentleman who actually, I even have a picture. I took a picture with the gentleman who actually created Doge originally. And he was anything an Allen type. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all just a big con job. It wouldn't surprise me. Keep in mind, 21st century capitalism. I'm actually very disillusioned with this species. I'll tell you that much by crackers. But anyway, the point of the matter here, I suppose, is what was the expression that I suggested to people that they should be really doing all through last year? Do you remember what it was that I was telling? Get your something together. And we even had a fun little group that at TRI all last year. And then it was interesting. The market started to lift at the end of last year, and that group kind of dissolved, and we never really got together. But a bunch of us, including Eddie over there on YouTube, we were all loading up the boat on these kind of names down here. And I wanted to add to this position just prior to the election. I didn't know what the catalyst was that was going to launch all this stuff higher. I do have a whole bunch of stink bids working on Kraken here. I had to sort of extradite, no, what's the term? Just extract myself from DeFi because that didn't work well for me at all, which is fine. I mean, I'm a dinosaur. I know how to trade. I don't know how to do computers. So I'm not really that smart when it comes to computers. I leave that shit up to TRI CTO. But when it comes to trading, yeah, I haven't really seen too many people who. I mean, I've seen lots of gamblers. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see many people on the interneting who approach trading and investing the way that I do. And ironically enough, the way that I do is what you're supposed to do as a money manager and a financial planner and all that kind of fun stuff. In crypto, it turns out it's either this, Wulon, where are you? Do you want to buy some shit coins? Or even worse, and the worst part about it is, remember when Doge was running up last year? I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago. It was actually the exact same thing, although they weren't running around firing guns off. But I remember there was like the Prince of Nigeria kind of thing, and they were running Ponzi on Doge, and every second or third sentence, the guy would come on and go la 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 la, and it was like, now why the fuck is this guy doing this? I mean, he just looked like a total idiot the way that he was acting. But it turns out that it was actually intentional because the Google algorithm, it is hunting for these shillers. And so if he added la 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 after every single sentence and did funny, stupid things with his hands and stuff, the Google algorithm wouldn't kick in and identify him as a shiller. So it just goes to show these guys, they're so fucking criminal the way. If they put half of the effort that they put into stealing your money from you into actually learning how to actually invest and make money from trading, they would be so better served. But I guess the criminal activity is the easy path, and so as a result, it's really easy just to go down some con job to try and steal people's money. Keep in mind, you want to learn what the real world is like, right? Go and watch this World Bank director talking about the con job that is China. And really, I might argue that China has basically exported their version of capitalism around the world. And unfortunately, the cocksuckers over there have basically poisoned my country. And you see what a shit show my country's turned into. If anything, the people over in China are right now going, oh, perfect. This is excellent. Well, this is so going according to plan. I mean, our fucking country's it wouldn't surprise me if this dissolves into some sort of civil war here by the time this dickhead is run out of office. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. All right. So, point of the matter here, I suppose, out of all of this is, and let me ask all 80 of you, and I sure hope we get the correct answer. Do you think Brian is going to encourage you to come in and buy assets that look like this? Thank you. I would expect no less from you, Mr. Insights. And what's so cool, this is just absolutely, I mean, you can't script this any better. But I pulled up this study, and if you think about like a tennis racket or a baseball bat, they have what's called the sweet spot, where if you play, I used to teach tennis, play tennis competitively, the whole thing. And of course, everybody knows about the sweet spot in your tennis racket. Well, you could argue that, these reload zone concepts, you could actually argue that there's a sweet spot in the reload zone, which is just simply the midpoint between the two important fib numbers. It's not rocket science. I don't think that this 70.2% is actually a fib number. It's just the in between, the midpoint of this. And so when I saw that the market had rallied into this level yesterday, I was like, I got to hit that. I couldn't believe my fortunicity, fortune, that I saw the market spike up here and then it just sort of sat. And what an interesting anecdote about technical analysis. Look how the market literally ran up. Of course, there's Brian's favorite fib. If I had an open order working, that's where I probably should have had it working. But I woke up, and keep in mind, look what time it is, right? This was actually, that's not, there is where it happened. So the run up, I saw this move. In fact, actually, I think it was all through here. I saw the market run up to sort of the midpoint, and then it popped up higher. And then I saw, I don't know, does anybody see a letter of the alphabet here? Maybe if we see that, we got to go, uh-oh, better be careful. Do it like that. All right. You ever see the market smiling at you? Be careful. So I saw that and I just went, you know what? I'm not in love with this thing. I've already, this is like 5x or something like that from my buy, which was down here at a dime. Actually, I think it was 11 cents or something like that. Well, actually, you know what? I'll just show you the damn tweet. And the good part about what I like to do is I'm an open book. There's nothing special about what I do. All I do is I force myself to come in at the bottom ends of ranges and sell and buy. Then at the top ends of ranges, look to sell. So I guess that it was this one, It was the cripple trade. So this was like I think this was like a 3 or 4x or something like that. Nice little bottom, 30, 40 cents, not bad. Popped up here into $1.40, $1.50. And as soon as I saw that 70.2, I was like, I gotta hit that. I have to hit that. I have no choice. And so I did. So I mean, the interesting thing about my strategy is I'm never going to sell everything. Like, what's the point? I now have sold half on a triple. So I definitely got all my money back. Even got a little bit of extra money to pay the tax man because, got to pay your taxes on these capital gains. Now I'll take the original capital that I used to buy this position down here. And I literally have just thrown my bid in right at 78.6. I don't know. Did you hear that? Did that Beamish guy ever talk about 78.6s and the importance of 78.6s? So it's just rinse and repeat. You know, nothing really out of the ordinary here. It's just I've been playing this game so long, I happen to know sort of the typical behavioral pattern of these kind of assets. And then when the market affords me the opportunity to pay myself for my hard work, I do so. The worst part about this game is, of course, when stuff is tanking down into reload zones, 78.6s, this is the only business when stuff goes on sale, nobody wants to buy. That's a famous line from my old buddy Louis Rukeyser. And then conversely, when this stuff is face ripping up, this is the only business where when prices are being bid up insanely, triple in like a week. Nobody wants to sell. Well, okay, well, I'll let you have some. So, and actually, interestingly enough, this is actually the conservative trade that I did this week. Wouldn't that be kind of cool if a conservative trade for you would be booking a 300% gain? That's not so bad, eh? So, but the point here is I haven't sold all. I've only sold half the position. If this thing goes crazy again, well, I might sell some more. I mean, in fact, we have an expression at TRI called spoon feeding, where I'm not going to be in a huge hurry, but every time, and maybe why don't we make this point our reference point? If we see $2.80 on Cripple, I'll let another half go. Nothing wrong with that. M Crypto M says that Cripple is going to $569. Oh, goodness. My hunch here is that when you actually start hearing that kind of talk, that's usually the kind of talk that gets the public to come in and go, that guy says he's going to 569 and yet it's only $1.50. God, that must be cheap right there, eh? And of course, if you're a professional trader, that's not cheap. Sorry. This is cheap down here. And actually, this is a fantastic lesson for you all. This is what's called volume profile. Now, do you see this is like literally it's a horizontal representation of all the volume that happens to have been traded at that particular price point, right? You can see all the different price points as we go up. Now, relatively speaking, where is everybody actually long this name? Are they all long up here at $1.40, $1.50, $1.60? Sorry. No, they're not. You know, this is why when you see this thing go zooming up here, and keep in mind, this profile has not changed. You can even see on this push up here, where a lot of buyers coming in and buying up top here. No. So who is these people that are actually coming and buying up here? Sadly, it's the public. Because keep in mind, the public, they don't have very deep pockets. Hey, I inherited $5,000 from Uncle Louie. He just passed away. Poor dear. I'm going to go and buy $5,000 worth of Cripple here because somebody said it's going to go to $500. But that's this low volume that you see over here. That's all those people. This is like millions, maybe even billions of dollars way down here. And just look at the relative size. You know, if you're actually just looking at volume profile, this is really simple. This is what's called a shelf right here at 70 cents. And you want a simple no-brainer buy. Oh, what a surprise. There's Mountain Man just sitting there. And of course, there's a big fat W. Just throw your bid right at the shelf. You see where the shelf is. Just throw your bid in there. And that's like a no-brainer trade location. It's not rocket science. In fact, actually, I can even show you. I'll go back 10 years ago. See the exact same, and you know, this is the lesson that you get today. I never know what the fuck lesson I'm going to teach you people. But I tell you, this is absolute gold. And you know the sad part about it is nobody does what I do on the internet. You know, nobody like just sits and says, okay, I'm going to try and teach you a concept here. Pay attention. But this is when I first got involved in Bitcoin right here. Actually, no, right here. And it's the exact same conversation. It's no different at all. Oh, except I got to be on the right date. Sorry about that. But check this out. This will fry your brain. I mean, it's absolutely incredible how this stuff works. Then there's no difference. Same shit, different pile. All right, so we've got the profile on here, right? Hell, you could do it when it was 20,000. You tell me. Was there a lot? Here is the history of Bitcoin, and here is the run up to 20,000. Was there anybody buying? Look at the profile. Was there anybody buying? No, everybody's long here. So if there's going to be a correction, where's the market likely to come back to? Well, how about all the way right back down? Right now, we'll let the profile fill in and actually, you can actually see some buyers actually showed up here. It's not the best example, but the one I wanted to show you right here was, this is when I first got into the space. And I remember looking at this chart with both students and people on things like TradingView. And the price, we'll just go right to here. So the price went running up to $1,000. Oh, is it not going to show the profile? Ah, bastards. All right, well, screw that. What are we here? And I have to go back again. Sorry, just give me a second. And of course, whenever I try and do these things on the fly, sometimes we end up having to spend an extra couple minutes just finding the levels, etc. All right. We finally got back to 10 years ago, and ironically enough, there's like no difference. So anyway, there's your profile. So I remember sitting there in the TradingView chat room, right? This right here. In fact, we could probably even go in here, which is so sad, is we could probably go into this chat room, wherever it is. I think it's this one right here. And probably even, is this the Bitcoin chat? I don't even know how this thing even works anymore. But I guess these are messages that they're sending me. Is that private? Public? There you go. I bet you there's a bunch of people in here that have no clue what the hell they're doing, and they're just basically gambling. Anyway, I used to sit there, and this is where we started chatting, like Julian and I, we first sort of became friends in this chat room. There was about a dozen or so of us that were all like super uber. I told you about that flapper guy. Same sort of thing. Anyway, I remember sitting there and basically saying, if you want to throw in a stink bid, you probably want to buy where everybody else is long. Nobody's buying up here. Why are you so stupid as to come in and pay here? You can see where everybody's long Bitcoin. So, keep an eye and think about that $150 to $200 reference. Let's just keep that in mind. And then watch what happens. And wait for it. Doink. Look at that. Did you just see that? And the profile shifted there. Let's do that again. All right. Bottom of value. That shelf, right? I mean, this is exactly the same as what's happening right now. There's the shelf. Throw your bid in at the top of the shelf. And doink. You're done. Do you see that? And somebody just affirmed that they just saw what I just showed you there. And you should all be like, holy crap. I can't believe that. Anyone? Bueller. Adam, you sweetheart. Actually, Adam's become one of our core day trader now too. So Adam, he's so proud of Adam. He's like learned everything here at TRI. I'm so proud of you, Adam. Too bad the volume profile isn't for free users. Now, actually, I could show you a bunch of places you can get volume profile on the net for free. But you're missing the message, old man Brian. You're not hearing me. Yeah, we see it, Brian. Amazing. All right, cool, Cog. So anyway, you fast forward to today. Let's see what the profile's telling us. I don't know. Do you guys have first and foremost, let's ask a very simple question. Are people actually buying a lot of Bitcoins at this current price? I know RLC looks good. I've got bids. I actually don't want to talk about it because if I talk about how excited I am, the damn fucking market will take off. So I'll only talk about it after I get my fill. Oh, look at that. Somebody says volume profile is free now. So there you go. Merry Fishmas. So let's slow down here and let's answer a question. Are people actually coming in and buying a shit ton of Bitcoin here? Actually, and who actually, I'll know that you're a Bitcoin OGer, and actually, it's not even really that long ago, but who famously said that? Oh, I'm buying a shit ton of Bitcoin here. And then, like a month later, he got completely flushed out of his position because he was too stressed. Does anybody remember who that was? I think his first name was Dan. I think all the girls like throw their panties at him because he was so manly. Keep in mind, I'm not very manly, so girls don't throw their panties at me, unfortunately. No, no, that guy just no, it wasn't him. That guy's worse because that guy is like a total public. You couldn't create a more perfect public type participant in the market than that Poitney guy. That guy was absolutely perfect. And I even reached out to that guy and I even said, dude, you're making a fucking train wreck out of this trading stuff. Uh, Come over to TRI and I'll at least teach you how to trade. You know, never heard back from him. Anyway, so did we come to a conclusion? Are people buying a lot of Bitcoins up here? The answer is no, they're not. The answer to the other question was Dan Blazarian. I want to say Blazarian. Blazarian, something like that. Yeah, there you go. Is that how you pronounce his name? Blazarian? Anyway, Pixel Therapy. Pixel Therapy, that's you, isn't it? Chris? Your Pixel 6A. Maybe that's a different Pixel. I know a lot of people like using Old Man Brian, you're looking at wrong thing. All right. Well, there you go. What's the name of it? All right. Anyway, so point of the matter here is the public is not coming in and buying a shit ton of Bitcoin. You know, the irony of it all is that the public probably is coming in and buying. But the thing is, the public doesn't really have that deep of pockets. So as a result, on a profile distribution basis, again, this is pretty simple. Just throw your bid in at the top of value. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink this. But and actually, this will really test. Let's see how smart all you smarty smarts are. If we came down and we checked this level, I just gave you half the answer. What would we call this event in trading? Hint, hint, hint. I gave you half the answer there. We came down and we checked that level. What would we call that? Very good. Yeah, looks like a couple of you are Mr. Wyckoff fans. I can't spell it. Yeah, that's half the battle is trying to just spell his name correctly, eh? Good part about it, I think his first name was Richard or something like that. So keep it simple, stupid. So in a weird sort of way, and actually this is really Wyckoff. There you go. This is actually a pretty good conversation here. When Brian talks to you about trading, how many reasons should we really have to justify us taking a trade? Just one? Should we have one? I don't think so. You're using the community version. Volume profile by Lonesome, not the official one by TradingView themselves. All right. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. I don't even know if you're talking to me or somebody else. You should have 3 unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. Can you see how we've actually identified two here? We've identified checking previous breakout levels. That's pretty normal. And we've talked about using volume profile and the concept of value. Keep in mind, most traders, they want to be long from value. They do not want to be long from outside of value, especially substantially higher than value. That's asking for trouble buying that up there. This is where Wall Street and whoever else is actually long Bitcoins, not up here. So, right off the bat here, we've actually given you two justifiable reasons. They're completely unrelated. Now all you need is a third one. Maybe, I don't know, it's really stupid. How about we say, if we can get the market to pull back into this level and then we get a W in price, well, I will go and buy that level. Now I have three unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. But, our conversation, and that's completely side. That was a special treat you all got there. I was not expecting to teach you how to find three unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade today. But, hey, you're getting a little treat here as well. Here's kind of a fun study. What happens if we ask, are we at a level that maybe we should be thinking about the market maybe stalling out, maybe exhausting itself? All right, and that's this concept called chaos theory. Oof. It turns out, look at that. We actually banged into a midpoint of chaos theory. And actually, I had a fun time. I think it was on Wednesday. It might have been Friday, where I walked you through how you can identify chaos theory levels, then start tricking out your charts, looking for chaos theory within chaos theory. And it turns out actually there's a number of reasons to look for a pivot right there. So it's not shocking. I suppose we could probably also do another one from there to there. Oh boy, there's another sort of confluence of levels kind of idea. Yeah, we could probably do another one here. Do we start seeing confluences of confluences? Oh boy, there's two 4, 6, 6, 9s. That is just one particular study, chaos theory. We could also, and I thought this was really interesting, we could talk about parking garages and extensions. This is a concept we teach in our level 1 program, how to identify trade location. So if I identify a trading range, bottom end of the range, top end of the range, and then I start asking about extension levels off of this, keep in mind, this is a trading range, low end of the range, top end of the range. So by definition, could we expect, if we do break out through the top, simply a replication of this range? And that's that whole concept of the parking garage. So extensions, and lo and behold, oh, look at that. We're actually playing right now at a 1.618 extension level. So not really a big surprise to see a bit of traffic there. I suppose we could also, for fun, talk a little bit about continuation patterns. So we're going to do A, B, C, D. So this is like harmonics. And sometimes in these cases, oftentimes, you see the market actually overreach these ABCDs and like to bang into things like 1.272s, 1.618. Sometimes we can go all the way up there. And as I had said to you a bit ago, this is what we would call the parking garage, that zone all the way up there. So really, I believe it or not, actually, the end of this move, wherever it is, I wouldn't be surprised if it has to trade up to that 200% parking garage kind of concept, right? And think of this as nothing more than, we might even see it here. Let's see. There to there. Yeah. So you can see this was a range, right? So you can measure, let's see, where is the arrow? It's got to be on here somewhere. Oh man, I'd love just blabbing away. So my apologies if you're like, when are you going to get to the fireworks factory? God damn it. Right, so this is a trading range, bottom end of the range, top end of the range. If we break out through the top, all we're going to simply do, and this is very normal for markets, is we're just going to simply replicate this range above, right? So the way that we describe this in the education program, of course, is the parking garage. So you can see the market rallied into the parking garage, 1.618 up to 200%, and it just had to take a bit of a pause. In fact, the pause took about 6 months for it to clean itself up. So could we easily replicate that? It looks like that's exactly what's happening right now. There's not really anything shocking here. The only problem here is that and maybe that better to appropriately color this so you don't get confused. I usually like to color the parking garages teal. So it's not really a buy level. It's not really a shorting level. If anything, what I want to do is when we get up into these levels, and actually this is a really good example also too. What if I told you about 1.618 levels on these alt ABCDs? Is this kind of an important level here? What if I told you about 1.618 alt ABCDs? Anyone? La 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 la. What is this 1.618 called? Be interesting if you, if you're a fan of Scott Carney, although I don't know whether I really like the idea. Scott Carney seems to have decided that he has come up with this harmonics concept all on his own, and he is the owner of all these concepts. This goes way back before Scott Carney was even a twinkle in his old man's eyes. But anyway, it is what it is. Maybe we put that on there. Maybe that'll help you. This is like literally a no-brainer trade loan. In fact, actually through the election rally there, we had a beautiful example of the market banging into this 1.618. As soon as it hit, it had to puke out. So interesting how I think we can make the argument that this is basically the parking garage at work here. And I think we can go there to there and there to there. And maybe let's make this, we'll change that to like orange. And actually, this is kind of cool because, frankly speaking, we're basically telling you where the market's going to go. So you can see same logic here, parking garage, bang, 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 bang. So no reason. This is our new trading range. We accepted above the trading range. Where are we likely to go? Top of the parking garage. And oh, by the way, that also happens to run into a very pleasant, in fact, actually what we should do with this is let's change this to the bot trade levels, and you can actually even see how the trade forms itself out. So let's go bang, and there it is. Bot entry is off of this bottom here. What's fascinating is we even got a nice little buy signal on Bitcoin down here. Move your stop to scratch at this point right here. Never came back, so you'd still be long. Move your stop to trailing on basically a test of the previous highs, which makes sense. So 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. You'd have your stop just below this there, just above your entry there. Market starts cranking higher. You might take all profits at the bot level. This was a futures trade, and I was like prop trading. I would just, it's too stressful to stay long. Just take profits, ring the register, kaboom, Nebraska, give me my fucking money. But in this case, I think you could make a realistic argument. And what would probably be smartest is maybe you say something like, kind of like what we did with the Ethereum trade. And I suppose if we get time, we could talk about that. Maybe you like let half of the position go at 1-to-1. Stops obviously still at scratch, or you're trailing it up. Then maybe let a little bit more go at 1.272. And then maybe have like an open order working up at the top of the working garage and the 1.618. And so see if you can let a little bit more go up top here. So that'll give you like an average selling price. You got a little bit off there, a little bit off there. And so your average selling price is going to be somewhere up in there if the market rallies up top here. So that's the approach that I would probably take on the sell side here. But as we said, there's nobody coming in and actually buying here. This is all fluff. And the sad part about it is, you know what this market is? I mean, poor old Frankenstein talking to the pictures on the walls. You don't think I'm talking to the pictures on the walls? You want to see what they're not only talking to the pictures on the walls, they're firing guns at the pictures on the walls. Oh, no, that one, not that one. Where's my Twitter thing that I do? One of these darn things. You know, unfortunately, this is this version of this nonsense. Oh my God. I mean, and you know, that's the sad sort of commentary on how this society's gone. I mean, to all intents and purposes, these people should not even be in the market. They're just, there's no difference in this is just going to fucking Atlantic City or Vegas or something. No difference whatsoever. I mean, this is just absolutely terrible. But basically, this kind of commentary and all these various different ones, this happens to be just one guy. But there, I mean, there's countless versions of this and all the various different. I think actually they even put like all of these. Like, all right, now this is an expert on investing. How old are you? Hey, look at this nonsense. Dev says to shoot his goldfish if the coin doesn't get to $1 million market cap. I mean, come on. This is just insane. This is the definition of stupidity in the marketplace. It's tragic, but this is the way this stupid fucking human nonsense bullshit goes every time.
Why, Brian, we've got less than half an hour left.
Oh God, I've been blabbing away here forever. Have I taught anybody anything here today? Any of you guys over on the YouTube page, did anybody get any value out of this? You go, you know what? Actually, this was really educational here. Did I teach anybody anything? Because I've been blabbing away here for far too long. Always two sides to a coin. Yeah, I suppose a bull and the bear, right? All good, BB. All right. Thank you, Lucy. They used to call her Lucy. No. How does that go? I think her name was Lucy, but they all called her. How's that Beastie Boys song go? Oh, that's good. No, we're getting some good positive feedback here. All right, good. All right. So the point of the matter here is I would be on the sell side here. I would not be on the buy side here. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell everything. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I am saying if you did take longs off of the breakout here, for God's sakes, pay yourself a bit. And that's basically what this stuff is. Actually, that's our little algo. Actually, algo's has some interesting trades. You want to see a kick-ass fucking trade the algo spat out? Man, this is so killer. Solana in Australian dollars, of all things. Now, why the hell would you do Solana in Australian dollars? So the the algo just simply is hunting against the bottom end of range. Everybody should understand that. And then the algo is looking for all of these W's in RSI. It loves W's in RSI. And Fjord's actually built a W finder for indicators, which is, you can't find that anywhere online. And then, of course, we're looking for very specific price action. This was a nice inside bar fractal buy signal. And look at this trade. And isn't that interesting how we just banged into 16-to-1 risk reward level? right? And that, remember I showed you that idea over there on Bitcoin. Let's them go at target one. Let's them go at target two. Let's them go at target three. I think it's actually a perfectly acceptable idea. Let's them go at 2 to 1, whatever your risk is. And if I'm trading futures contracts, I do that religiously. Then and a stop to scratch on remaining. Then lets them go at 4 to 1. So that's this level here. And it took a while to get to 4 to 1, but nonetheless, that was it. Then lets them go at 8 to 1 because you never know how high these damn things are going to go. This is that whole, the silly little Twitter thing. Took $500 and turned it into $500,000 or whatever the hell the damn number was. And actually, for whatever it's worth, it was actually quite a bit higher than 500,000, but I wasn't really counting. But that's this kind of conversation. The bet was, could I turn 500 into 100 G's? So when I hit 100 G's, I was like, okay, I'm done. And really, ironically enough, this was when I was actually supposed to leave this space. Here we are, 7 years later, and I'm still doing this. I have no fucking clue why I'm still here. But I'll tell you, I think at the end of this run here, October, November, I think I'm done. So just FYI, if you do want to learn from me, if you do want to work with me, if you want to get this stuff learned so that you can, for the rest of your life, set yourself up for success, you better get in the school program here now, because if you want to do all 3 terms, it's going to take you to the end of the year. And as I said, I think I'm done at the end of this calendar year, 2025. I fully expect crypto to face rip into the top, and I'm going to basically ride out at the top of the market and go and do other things in life. So just heads up for you. If you're serious about learning and you want to, like I've had some people. I had actually a few people actually say, Brian, I don't care. I want to get the whole damn package. I want to make damn sure that I get as much of you as I can before you take off, because I know once you're gone, nobody else is going to teach me this stuff. So that's a warning to all of you that are watching this video. If you want to work with me and you want to get full education program, you better get going on this education, because it's a solid year. If you do like term 1 here in January, then probably by the fall, you'd roll around to level 3. And as I said, come January 2026, I am going to be officially heading off into the sunset. So be aware of that, everybody. I will give you plenty of heads up between now and then. You've all been officially warned. All right. Anyway, point of the matter of all that is, damn, what a signal. And, ironically enough, half of the reason why we did the school program was to fund our CTO, because he's fucking expensive as hell, to build these. And now, once this is up and running and it's just doing its thing, you can subscribe to this with the Dashboard Pro membership. Really, I'm just going to let the boys just trade the algos from here on out. I mean, this is the kind of shit that we want, and this is the whole reason why we did the school to begin with. It was just to fund all of this. 10 years later, I'm still doing this. Well, okay. Were there any questions in that Q&A document, Chris? I can't remember. I didn't actually really look. Should probably just, for posterity, make sure that there's nobody. And I've got about 20 minutes left here. All right. Now, where the heck did I do that? I don't know which one it is. Well, just hit these buttons, see what happens. Anything over here? We should probably talk. In fact, maybe not a bad opportunity to pitch the Black Friday deal. If you are interested in the school program, we give pretty substantial discounts here through the Black Friday window. We would like to encourage you to basically sign up for the coming year. And as well, too, off of our Pro package, we give a pretty substantial discount here into the end of the year. So I would strongly encourage you, if you are interested, just go and lock this in, get it over with, and then you don't have to worry about any other payments or anything like that for the rest of 2025. As well, too, thought we had a basic site membership, but we might not have included that in our Black Friday deals. But anyway, so we've put this page together. If anything, I'll just give you this. I got the green light from the team that you can all go and check that page out. Maybe watch some of our interviews. You all know this guy. Fascinating how this story has turned. I'm not quite sure why the team still has that video on there, but anyway, it is what it is. Interesting. This gentleman actually works for CoinMarketCap. This is TRI CTO. This is Bart. Actually, I haven't seen Bart in a while. I haven't talked to him in a while. He was super excited about the uranium and nuclear business. So hopefully his business going well there. And there's Sene. This is when I was in Breda, hanging out with the Dutch crew. Great conversation about sort of the community and how exciting these people are all working together. There's Innie. This Innie and I, that was, where were we? I think that was also in Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. We had a really, really nice dinner that night. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, we used to talk about Innie Big. And then this was when we had our Vancouver meetup. This was a local guy. Ironically enough, he actually never really amounted much at TRI, but nonetheless, it was a good conversation with a whole bunch of the local TRIers. And actually, the one video that you all should watch to really get to know TRI really well is where is it? This is the rationalinvestor.com. This is probably actually the best place to start. But where is it? When we were in Portugal, we sat down with a whole bunch of TRIers and interviewed them, and it was such a great piece. Josh did the recording and the content. It was just so great because these people really talk to you from the heart. That's what I really like about TRI. People speak from the soul. It's not this sort of bullshit shill. We're all gonna get rich, circle jerk crap. Where the hell did where did they put it? I could have sworn I saw it on here. Anyway, we do have a free 30-day trial. So, by all means, you're welcome to come and just kick the tires. I don't know where. This was our Portugal crew. There's Eddie. This was when we were in Vancouver. Actually, this was also in Vancouver too. Man, we've actually had a few meetups. And actually, speaking of which, if you are in the area, we're planning on having an October 2025 meetup in Greece at Leandros's place there in Greece. So if you are interested and you feel like if you're happen to be over in Europe and you are available, we'd love to have you come hang out in the Greek Isles with us to celebrate the top of the market. So.
Just check, Brian. Yeah, you do have a few questions in the questions document.
Oh, is there? Fudge. All right. Well, anyway, head on over to this site, and ironically enough, I can't find the one thing I wanted to show you, but we had a really cool, maybe might be under community. I'll tell you, man, this is such a good website the team has put together. Very, very impressive. Where is the team? Where did it was even Josh put this page together, so I would have thought that it would have been in there. Oh well. There's another video like this, but I don't know what the hell I put it. And of course, caught myself here flat-footed. Way to go, Brian. Anyway, it's in here somewhere. I guess maybe over the coming week I'll show you more of that. I can't figure out where the hell I put it. It should be actually. You know what? Maybe it's over here under the testimonials. And if anything, I absolutely love this testimonials page because there's no better sales pitch for TRI than our students and our site members. Like, don't listen to me. I mean, I've been at this stupid game forever. I actually have a really hard time actually even seeing the market the way that you all see it, especially new people to investing. I'm just sort of like, well, what are you talking about? Hey, this is it here. So all these, I always go on about Adam, right? There's Adam right there. TBG, I wonder what TBG's up to these days. I haven't heard from him in a while. So anyway, so there's Eddie. We were talking about Eddie earlier. Here's a couple of TRI OGers. These guys have been around TRI forever, Raf and Bobo. But anyway, fantastic community. Anyway, we did these interviews, just individuals, students, site members, OGs, staff members. Rare is here. He was part of the staff for a long time. And I don't think that there's a better sales pitch for TRI than actual students, actual site members. These are the people that you should be listening to. So anyway, okay, let's head on over to that Q&A document and let's see if I can speak to any questions that were asked. And then hopefully we can send you on your way. In good shape. So where was that? Where's Chris? Chris, I can't see the AMA document offhand, so I'll see if I can just pull it up here. Where is Chris? There we are. Canva, Google Doc, AMA. There we go. All right, so let's see what we got. And if there's a coin that I want to buy, I don't want to come in here and start talking about how wonderful I think it is. Because then what ends up happening is everybody goes and bids the damn thing up and I can't get filled. So, like you wanted me to look at RLC, but oh my goodness, I don't want to talk about RLC because I want to buy. Yeah, Grim's awesome. Who is leading the level 1 course? Is it still you or are you teaching level 3? I done the pre-recorded lectures that you watch and learn from. And then in level 1, Grim actually every week goes through the exact same material, but does sort of like an updated version. Because the pre-recorded lectures that I have are, some of them are like 5-10 years old. I don't think the material has changed, but what's really cool is Graham just basically goes through and he addresses the topic, and all the slideshows that he has in the level 1 are basically the same material. So you get like an original version of Brian in the pre-recorded lectures, blah blah blah, do this, do that, and then you have an updated 2024 version in class with Grim. And I think that works really, really well because you get sort of like, well, here's the textbook that was written 10, 15 years ago. And then here is today's live version. So I absolutely love the juxtaposition. And I actually think Grim is probably a better instructor for level 1 because he's an absolute sweetheart. I mean, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. And I've said repeatedly, half of the reason why I think we've done so well here is because Spirit is literally just surrounded. Holy Jesus, look at all these questions. Oh, crap. Now I'm dead. But Spirit has surrounded me with a whole bunch of really, really good quality people. So, and then of course, remember, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do videos on the site. And like on Mondays, if there is any sort of follow through, you can see there's a whole bunch of questions here. I also do speak to the level 1 and the students through these BCS shows and then through the Monday through Friday stuff. So it's a lot of redundancy over and over and over. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, number 1. Hi, Brian. Could you please share information about Black Friday deals? All right, well, I just gave you that. We can put that right in here, especially the pro package. Do you have any statistics on the winning rates based on the breadth or screener signals? Also, if I remember correctly, you plan to add setups like the 3-step setup or both to the screeners. Was the attempt successful? Thanks from a future subscriber. All right, well, there is the Black Friday link for you. Oh, is that going to work? Oh, let's try that again. So you can check that out at your leisure. Actually, what's going on here? Oh, that's weird. Hmm. Hmm. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Yep, now I've got that handy. Oh, come on. This computer's not cooperating at all. I can't seem to get rid of that. Maybe if I go here. No, don't want to do that. Anyway, I guess we'll just leave the B on there. I think through the week here, in fact, actually today, debating as to whether maybe I cut Liam's visit short. Got to update the statistics for the reload zone. And actually, that's what that setup is, right? RLZ setup. Remember, is the setup you are thinking about, and SOL versus AUD trade. Trade is an example. All right, so maybe refer back to that. You can always pull that up. So there is your Black Friday deal. And I think what we'll do is we'll, we're going to do the public, the videos public here Monday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, Julian does his video public on Thursday. So I think through the week, maybe I'll put together that data sheet for you. And maybe like tomorrow's video, I'll just do some standouts of the RLZ screener. Like for example, that Australian dollar, that was a pretty good example. There are some other trades that were just absolutely kick ass as well. Good example of the system in operation. What I'm just going to simply say, and why don't we say, tune in through the week for more stats and standouts. Why don't we call it that? All right, number 2. Can you discuss the Michael Saylor business model if you know much about it and your thoughts on it? Seems like it will end up being another Ponzi or bubble at some point. He committed fraud in the dot-com bubble, and I am wondering if he's doing the same thing to enrich himself. Same story, different players. Well, I think if anything, think of a publicly traded asset as a currency unto itself. And I think he's using the micro strategies stock. I think it's an ETF, something like fund or something. Exchange traded fund. That's what ETF stands for. As sort of like his cash register. Did hear recently he talked about, and keep in mind, he's done a bunch of public videos about how wonderful Bitcoin is. And of course, he is the leading authority on Bitcoin. So, in a weird sort of way, he's kind of like hijacked the Bitcoin story a little bit. I don't think that the Bitcoin story is exclusive to Saylor. I think he's just another market participant. If anything, it's a good example. You know, I've often told you my favorite market analyst, trader, investor, whatever you want to call it, Stanley Druckenmiller. He was always taught by Soros that if you believe in something, don't invest 100% of your assets into it. Invest 200%. Invest 300%. So you could argue to a certain degree, Mr. Saylor is putting his money where his mouth is. But notice, look at the color of my hair. And actually, it kind of sucks because now my beard is going gray and white. So maybe it's not so relevant now. You know, I'm in my mid-50s, not too much gray. Have you ever seen what Saylor looks like? Holy, he looks like he's probably about 30 or 40 years older than he actually is. So if you live that high leverage, high octane life in down markets, it can be extremely stressful. And, when Bitcoin was going through his correction, people were basically calling for his head. And now Bitcoin's going through his bull run, and now he's just leveraging the fuck out of his fund to try and keep buying more and more and more Bitcoins. I suppose as long as the price of Bitcoin keeps going up, there's nothing wrong with that. I did see recently he's done cheeky little things like he's floating a convertible debenture that pays no interest. So that's basically like you're lending Sailor money. And keep in mind, he doesn't really have to pay you back. It's a convertible debenture, and you could just keep rolling it out over time indefinitely. And he doesn't have to pay you any money for borrowing money from you. That's a pretty sweet deal. Is it legal? Well, I suppose he's using his MSTR as currency, and I think the MSTR is going straight up. So, if anything, he's cashing in on the currency's strength. I suppose if we go MSTR, the only question you have to ask yourself is, is there any value to this asset? How do you even figure out what value is? I hate to say it, but if we, if I go on something like FinViz and I pull up his asset, my hunch is I'm going to be just sick to my stomach over the valuations. So I doubt I'm going to be able to tell you that this thing's value. My hunch is probably not. It's got 200 million shares out. It's trading 200 times sales, trading 22 times book value. Is that right? 22.65 times book value. He's carrying more debt than equity. I don't think he's actually earning any money. I mean, I guess he's expecting to earn money next year, but how would he earn money? I mean, I think he's going to, it'll be shareholder value because he's selling a whole bunch of shares and, raising debt and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think he actually has a product or a service here. It's just he's long Bitcoins. You can see the street right here. They're giving him a pretty good recommendation rating. To be honest with you, that's a bit surprising. It's as good as it is. So I guess the street seems to like what he's doing. I could never justify buying a stock trading at 22 times book. But, I mean, look at fucking Allen. I mean, Allen's stock was 400 and they knocked it down to $100. That's 75% haircut. Remember I told you 70, 80% haircut. Should you buy? Look at the valuations on this thing. There's no fucking way in hell I could ever sit down with somebody with a straight face at 16 times book and say that you're buying value. You're not. You just aren't, right? Book value is book value. Having said that, does that mean that the stock can't go up? No, that doesn't mean that at all. Remember, the market is it's the market. So are you buying a ridiculously overvalued stock? I would say absolutely. But, Adam Smith, right? Market can remain illogical far longer than anybody can remain solvent. And I've often made the argument that Allen is nothing more than a Barnum and Bailey guy. He's just, he is the master of circle jerking. And I might argue, same thing with this guy. Are you buying value here? Absolutely not. No shot, not even debatable. Are you buying value here? Having said that, does that mean that the stock price can't go up because the whole public is circle jerking? No, doesn't mean that at all. So, caveat emptor. And of course, anybody who's done an education program at TRI knows that that's actually not exactly what we want to see if we're thinking about investing in an asset. I can tell you that much, by crackers. So I don't know whether that helps you or not. And unfortunately, I mean, it's like Bitcoin, Gucci sweater wearers, and hey, just go and buy Bitcoins, you're guaranteed to make money. Well, I might argue that basically that's the same as this. It's identical. Is it fraudulent? Ooh, that's a tough one because I don't think anywhere he's like saying you're guaranteed to make money if you buy my stock. I don't think he's saying that anywhere. He'll use enough vagary, enough, well, consult your financial advisor as to the appropriateness of participating in mine. And then he'll sit there and talk about how wonderful Bitcoin is. It's kind of the same thing as Fink. He does exactly the same thing, where he just sits there and talks about, well, BlackRock is all about hope. And, oh, Bitcoin is digital gold. Is that talking about whether Bitcoin's cheap or whether it's overvalued? No, he doesn't ever mention anything about that. And so as a result, nobody can sue him for fraud if Bitcoin happens to come back down to the cost of production, which, hint, 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 I think is actually quite a bit lower than where we are. So there you go. I don't know whether that helps answer your question, but I can just simply say, I will say, simple answer for me is I can't buy an asset trading at 22 times book value. And I think that's probably and we'll say, i.e. value. There is no value at 22 times book. That's just ridiculous. So, it is what it is. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. Now, does that mean that this thing couldn't go to 50 times book, 100 times book? Sure. I mean, that's the market for you. Just remember what I'm doing here, right? If I was long this thing, do you think maybe I would be selling halves on doubles, triples, blah, 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 all that kind of talk? I think you know how that story goes. And you know what? That is 1:00. So I think what we're going to have to do here is I think we're going to have to pick this conversation up tomorrow. So we are doing free shows here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then you also have Julian on Thursday. So I think if anything, here, why don't we go asset trading at 20 times book value? I will say, i.e., not value. Boom. And of course, the really easy way for you to remember this, and it's probably the best way to finish this conversation off with you here today. Do you see any signs of W's in price there? Do you see a W? I see a W here. Down, up, down, breakout. Okay, maybe I could buy at 165. I'd be selling half at 300 and change. And I'd have my next sell order sitting up there at 600 and change. But there's no W's here. So you got no business being a buyer. It's just that simple. Okay, why don't we pick up this conversation first thing tomorrow morning? Wish us all, show me a W, Woj, whatever your name is. I'll let the W speak. Stock splits amongst themselves. That's not enough of a justification to do anything. I suppose there was the stock split and then you see the technical breakout. All right, fine. W's speak W's. Volume speaks volume. W speaks W's. All right. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. We'll have another free broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, along with Julian's offering on Thursday. So we'll have plenty of time to interact, and hopefully I can convince all of you of what a wonderful idea it is to either join our education program and learn how to run effectively a small business of trading with the expectation of making money from trading. And then also too, hopefully I can convince you of the value to consider subscribing to our pro package and all of our fun candy that we've been working so diligently on building over the past 5-10 years with Sjord. and the CTO, including, we have a number of different things like different crypto portfolios, screening tools, um, overviews, breadth indicators of what the market looks like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, have yourselves a great day. Wish us luck on the road today. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins race. The only one price is. Bye for now.